during the morning to perhaps midday hours. After that, mostly sunny to sunny and mild for the afternoon, with highs that reach about 65 to 71. Overnight tonight, clear and chilly. Winds will be turning light with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. On Sunday, we'll see lots of sunshine. We'll also turn a couple degrees warmer, highs about 67 to 73 degrees. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
That is the International Morse Code signal, and that marks the beginning of my program, Gilbert Talks Taxes. Getting off to a little bit of a later start here. We're just here having a good old time talking and fellowshipping, and Todd said, should we let it go to ABC News? I said, sure, go on, let it. Let's get a little later start this morning. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes because, as we all know, taxation with representation has not been such a good idea either. Well, the program is Gilbert Talks Taxes, although all year it's been Gilbert Talks about pretty much anything. Gilbert Talks Too Much is pretty much been the program. This will be our last program. The tax season, the regular tax season, ends Monday, the 18th this year because, well, actually today is Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. But because it falls on a Saturday, they celebrated it on Friday, April 15th. All of the federal government in Washington, D.C., was shut down yesterday, so the IRS was closed, so they pushed everything to Monday. And actually, it'll be Monday for the next couple of years, because next year, the 15th, is on a Saturday, then on a Sunday, then it'll be back on Monday, and we'll be back on our regular schedule. So we've got an extra weekend in this tax season, and it has really been a boring tax season. It really has been. Compared to prior years, it has just been and I don't know if it's the IRS just kind of took a step back, but they ramped up, put an extra 1,000 people on the call lines this year. The commissioner did not start the year by complaining about how much money he didn't have. See, over there, you got to remember how they do budgets in Washington. They don't do budgets like you and I do budgets. I know I'm going to make so much money, and honey, this is how much money you have to go to Walmart. Okay? You can't spend more and write Walmart an IOU. Our government spends more and writes everybody an IOU. And if they run out of money, they just print it. My Xerox won't do that. I can't. I've tried. It won't work. So they're a little different over there. So every year he complains about how much money he doesn't have. This year he didn't. He didn't threaten to shut down the IRS like he did the last 3 years. And they kind of got started. They've had some problems. They've had some issues. So I'm going to get into that in a little bit. This is my last show for the season. Now, Jim has asked us to keep doing this. And we keep saying, Jim, people don't want to hear about taxes in the middle of June. However, as Todd says, I can talk about anything and make it sound interesting. So we may we're thinking about it. We're thinking about doing it. We really have enjoyed doing this. This is our third year of doing it, and we've enjoyed it. And we just love the people of Rutherford County, all of you that have stopped by the office with your problems, your tax problems, and they've called with your questions and sent me emails. I want to thank you. And a lot of them have become clients. A lot of them have referred me to clients. So we want to thank all of you. My name is Gilbert Carmona. The program is Gilbert Talks Taxes. I am an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is a person enrolled with the IRS to represent taxpayers in all matters of appeals and just any nasty problem you can find yourself with. I have two offices, one right here at 113 Whitesides Road in Rutherfordton. I have another office in Polk County at 226 South Trade Street, the Art Deco building, just past the beautiful downtown there in Tryon. If you have a tax problem, a tax question, go ahead and call me. This is a live program, and my wife Christy is here to answer the phone. You can call me at 828-289-9300. You can send me an email. Go to gilberttalkstaxes.com. Go to the Contact Us page and pull up the link. Just fill in your question there and hit send, and I'll get that, and I'll try to get back to you. I didn't know. There's so many things I want to talk about, so we got that all out of the way. Let me welcome all our listeners. We've got those of you live streaming at www.wcab59.com, watching us live here in the Blue Room. And Jim has really upgraded that Blue Room meter. It looks fabulous. It looks great. Those of you listening to us, Northland Cable Channel 5, good morning. And those of you listening over the radio, 590 AM, good morning. Again, this is a live program, so I try to plan for it, but my wife tells me not to plan too much because I end up talking about whatever's on my mind anyway. So I want to take this first part of the program and let me get my thank yous out of the way. First of all, I want to thank our engineers. Jay, who is, where is he today? He's at the National Convention of Broadcasters.
He's in the Vegas casino.
And no, I don't think so. No, not him. He's not in a Vegas casino. No, he's in Las Vegas. They're probably having it at a big hotel. But it is the National Convention, and he's, I think, representing he belongs to a subchapter called the Broadcast Educators, National Association of Broadcast Educators, and he's there representing them. He was all excited about that. It's their big annual event. Jay, we love you. We miss you. Thank you so much for your help. And I want to thank Todd. And, of course, I want to thank Canyon, my roadie, who does all my setup here, gets my chair ready for me. Couldn't have done it without him. Karen, thank you so much for coming. I want to thank Jim Bishop, really, for having faith in us to do this. I want to thank all my sponsors. And those of you looking here, we have a bag of the official cookie of Gilbert Talks Taxes, cranberry oatmeal cookie from Cafe at the Mall. I want to thank Liz. I want to thank Tim, Foothills Photography, DSL, DS Design Graphics, Alex and Yvette. That's just how I know them. I don't even know the name of their business. Alex and Yvette. And Nancy, thank you so much. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Robin Saunders. I wouldn't look fabulous without Robin, and that's just a fact. Everybody knows that. And Peterson, thank you so much. All of you, also Integrity, Granite, and Marble. We had Kim over at the office last night. There are some exciting things going on there. Their showroom is beautiful, and she says the business is just booming over there. So that's all our sponsors. Thank you very much. And those of you that have approached me about sponsorship, I'd love to do it, but I can only, at some point I got to do some talking. I can't just have commercials all the time. But I want to thank the people that are interested. We're going to get into, let me get into some tax. I am going to have some tax law today. I'm going to talk about a few things. Monday is the last day. You have till midnight to file your tax return. You're probably there at home thinking everybody's already filed their tax returns by now. No. According to the IRS, they just issued this stat on Friday. Friday, right? Yes. No, actually Thursday. On Thursday, they issued this statistic. Stat to us professionals in the business, Todd. The statistic that says 2/3 of the tax returns have been filed. There is a third that is in extension and or have not filed. And they expect, of that third, they expect over half of them to file tomorrow. So that's really a huge number when you think about it. And I know that of that half of that third, I think about 90% of them have called me. They've been on the phone. People have been calling all week. Do you have room for one more? I don't even know how many appointments we have today. We're pretty booked up today. So, and then Monday, we've got appointments Monday, and we filed a lot of extensions. Remember, yes, well, there's a group of people, and I tried to discourage this the second year, but there's a group of people that come to my office the last day, and it's almost like become like a ritual. They come and they bring food and drinks and they file their tax returns, and they're not getting much of a refund, and they know it. They don't. If they owe very little, so they don't care. They put it off to the last minute and they come. One year we had 4 of them come from that business. Yeah. 4 of them came from one business. Yeah, they all came together. They all came together and camped out. And I think at about 10 o'clock I finally had to kick them out. I turned the lights off, and that didn't. They still stuck around. So there's a group of people that just do that. The most interesting thing that I have seen doing this business now going on my 16th year is that people file their taxes almost to the day, the same day every year. There's the group of people that comes right away. The IRS isn't even receiving returns yet, and they're already at my office with their W-2s. Then there's a group of the people that come in February and in March, because my software tells me what day they filed the year before, and I've had people that actually the same day as the year before, and it's really funny. We really are creatures of habit. So people that wait, just wait. But filing an extension, if you file an extension, it is not an extension to pay. A lot of people come into my offices and say, well, I do their taxes. Okay, you owe $400, $500, whatever. It's a minimal amount, really. And they say, well, just file. I don't have it. Just file an extension. Well, that's got nothing to do with it. If you don't pay what you owe or make a reasonable estimate, and a reasonable estimate is, within a few dollars, not within a few $1,000s. A reasonable estimate by Monday, April 18th this year, or April 15th normally, if you don't make, you will get penalties for failure to pay, and pay estimated taxes. And the penalty is a percentage, and these penalties can add up, and they can be huge. If you owe a lot of money, and when I say a lot of money, I'm talking about over $400 or $500, thousands, you can request a payment plan within the software. When I file it, there's actually a form that attaches to your tax return, and you can request a payment plan. If you owe for a prior year, you've just muddied up the waters, big time. If you owe for a prior year and you owe for this year, it raises all kinds of issues with the IRS as to whether you're serious about paying your tax debt. And they label you non-compliant, and that's a bad word in my world. You don't want to be labeled non-compliant. However, things do happen, and there are people that get stuck 2 years in a row. The best thing to do is to contact the IRS and have them, they don't automatically combine you've got a debt from last year, you got a debt this year, let's just combine them, and this is how much you owe me. They're not like a credit card. They don't think this way. They think you broke the law. You broke the law. You did not pay your taxes. It's very serious to them, and you have several years of it now, 2 or 3 or more. But if you're in a payment plan, you need to contact them and ask them nicely to combine that. Don't assume it will happen automatically. It will not. And it can really be a confusing mess, because what happens is when you make a payment, the IRS typically, this doesn't always happen, and this is what makes it even more confusing, typically the IRS will apply your debt to the oldest year. So I've had people think that they're paying off their last year's debt, and then it's going to apply to an older debt, and it's just very confusing. So calling them, you need to file the return and let the thing process through. Don't call them like the day you file the return, because there's nothing they can do. They don't know. It's got to go through the system, get posted, get inputted, pass all the checks and balances and all the things that their computer does on the back end, and then it'll post it to your account, and you can call them. How long does it take? I'd wait 2 weeks. I'd at least 14 days and give them a call. North Carolina is a little different, and I'm talking about North Carolina because that's where we are. I know I have a lot of clients that work in South Carolina, so they may have a South Carolina debt. They're a little different too. North Carolina has no payment request mechanism in the tax return. You have to just file that tax return, not pay it. Now, what they have told me, I've spoken to them about this topic several times, what they have told me is they will send you a letter assessing what you owe, telling you what you already know, that you owe $500, adding their penalties and their fees for not paying it on time, and giving you a new balance, and then they give you 30 days to pay that total amount. You then pick up the phone and call them and ask them nicely to give you a payment plan. Now, the IRS will go, depending on the amount of the debt, they'll go a long time. They'll go 72 months on some debt. Again, depending on the amount, if your debt's really big, you're in a whole other league. You get special consideration, and that can be good or bad. The North Carolina will go 20 months typically, and they won't go more than that. And they're not so generous to combine years. Those guys you want to pay. North Carolina, because they will lien and levy you and take money out of your bank account in a heartbeat. And won't even, I think they send you one letter. If you don't reply, it's open season. They'll take it. Okay, 20 after. Todd, let's take a break and let's come back, and we're going to talk about professional tax preparers and the newest hack scam warning from the IRS. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes right here, WCAB 590 AM.
A good sign is good business. Make your business stand out with a professional sign from DS Signs and Graphics. Successful companies all over the Carolinas are trusting Alex at DS Signs and Graphics. He has the artistic ability to present your company's image in the best light. Not only display signs, but DS Signs and Graphics can customize banners of all sizes. And if you need magnetic signs or window and vehicle lettering, call on DS Signs and Graphics today. They offer a full line of signs and graphics for any event. 3D, sandblasted, storefront, and monument signs are part of the complete selection of quality signage. Professional signs and banners to fit any budget. Let your business stand out. Call DS Signs and Graphics today. That phone number is 286-4900. Or stop by the sign shop located on Main Street in downtown Spindale. And check the website for more suggestions at dssignsandgraphics.com.
I want to tell you about a little-known Rutherford County gem, Integrity Marble and Granite, located at 287 Shiloh Road in Forest City. They are the premier stone fabrication company in the western North Carolina region. They specialize in granite, marble, and natural stone, offering complete design and installation. Their design center and Kohler showroom features vanities, decorative accessories, bathroom, and kitchen fixtures. You do not have to go to Charlotte or Asheville for this kind of quality. We have it right here in Forest City. Stop in their showroom and browse their beautiful displays, or you can call 828-247-8801 for a free quote. You can also go to their website, www.integritymarblegranite.com, and look at the pictures and see samples of their available materials. Now, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes, and they will give you $100 off any sink purchase. That's Integrity Marble and Granite.
Welcome back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Todd and I just spent the break eating cranberry oatmeal cookies. These are fabulous, aren't they? They're unbelievable. Unbelievable. How she does it, I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a bad cookie there, though. The peanut butter cookie, that almost became the official cookie of Gilbert Talks Taxes. But I think this is a whole nother level. A whole nother level. We're back. Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert Talks Cookies. Gilbert Talks Food. You can tell what's on our mind this morning. Okay. Scams. Let me talk about scams. Last year, the scam involving taxpayers was incredible. Last week, I gave the warning about that the robo-dialers, the people that call you on your phone and tell you you're going to be arrested if you don't pay the IRS. This is the IRS calling you. The other scam says that this is the IRS calling you. We're holding your refund. If you don't call us at this number right away, we've got some questions. And of course, if you're a person waiting for a refund, you call that number immediately. You don't stop and think. And that's what you need to do. Stop and think. The IRS never calls anybody about anything unless you are in a case with them, in which case you would know that you're in a case with them, and the person calling you would not be a robo-dialer, a robotic voice, or an answering machine type voice. It would be a person calling you saying, "Hi, this is Agent so-and-so," and you would know who that person is because you're working with them. But that's rare, and I think the average person doesn't have the situation. The IRS communicates through mail. Their entire system is set up to communicate through mail. They're probably one of the only reasons the Postal Service is still in business, that and Amazon and eBay. Other than that, Postal Service wouldn't exist anymore. It's the only mail I sent out anymore is to the IRS. So there's a new scam going around, and Todd, this is going to tie into your experience that we talked about earlier. Yesterday, the April 15th, the IRS issued a warning. And one thing I want to say, last year I made some predictions going forward. Actually, I did it the year before and I did it last year, and I've gone back and listened to the tape of what I said. I'm shocked at how accurate I was. Again, I'm not patting myself on the back. I just say what I think and what I see in my everyday practice. And I said the biggest problem facing the IRS in tax year 2015, which is this year, the biggest problem facing them, it's not going to be the tax gap, which is that imaginary number that they use, how much money they don't collect. That if we had better laws and they had a bigger budget, they'd collect all this money. And it's always this number that's just ridiculous. $80 trillion. The tax gap, actually, I don't even know what it is. Can you Google that for me, would you? What is 2016 tax gap? Last year it was, I think, like 800 million or something. It's a made-up number. There is no basis for that at all. They've just put a bunch of factors together and assigned these things values. That's not going to be their biggest problem, is closing the tax gap. Their biggest problem is not going to be Obamacare. Their biggest problem is not going to be new laws or AMT or any of these other things that most people don't even know what they mean. Their biggest problem is going to be identity theft and computer hack. And that has happened. And it will be their biggest problem. They're going to have to come up with something. Our social security numbers and dates of birth, if it's plural, is it date of births? Dates of birth is not going to be sufficient enough. What is it going to be? Is it another PIN number, which is what they're doing now? For people that have had their ID stolen, the IRS is sending a letter with a 6-digit PIN number. And they're going to, initially the plan was to give you a new PIN number every year. But that has proven to be a huge cost because they thought it was going to be a couple of 100,000 people, maybe nationwide, that would be affected. It's in the millions and growing. So that system is not what they thought it would be. And then, and I said this last year, they came up with this elaborate way of giving you that PIN. I said, great, they've just invented another portal that can get hacked. And sure enough, that happened. The PIN system tool, as they call it, on the irs.gov website got hacked. And they created, I think, 800,000. I don't know what the final number is. First they said it was 100,000, then they came back and said, no, they misspoke. That's a Washington term for they didn't know what they were talking about. So they misspoke and said it was 400,000. And now it's possible that it's maybe even in the millions. So something's going to have to happen. We don't know what it is yet, but something's going to have to happen, some kind of unique identifier that cannot be copied. I don't know.
Over $350 billion.
The tax gap, the artificial man-made tax gap is $350 million. Billion dollars. I really didn't remember. You know, a quintillion here and a quintillion there, and pretty soon you're talking about real money. You could stick any number in there. It's meaningless. What is the tax gap? Whatever. Oh, get me going on that topic. We're accountants, and accountants deal with black and white. We deal with facts and figures, not this nebulous math that just you make up a number and stick it there like our government likes to do. Business doesn't work that way. Business decisions are rooted on concrete facts. They just stick a number in there and this is what it is. So getting back to their warning, or that they issued yesterday, and this is very, very important because we wonder, okay, so I talked about all that identity theft. We wonder, how does your identity theft get stolen? A computer, obviously. We know South Carolina, Spartanburg Regional, a tech had his computer stolen out of his car. This happened 3, 4, 5 years ago. Had a computer stolen from his car when he was somewhere. I believe he was at his apartment, and which raised all kinds of security issues about why did a tech have a laptop in his car that had patient information, social security numbers, dates of birth for something like 250,000 patients. Because what this digital age has done is it has made it possible to have an incredible amount of data and a very small device. I mean, a jump drive can have hundreds of thousands of files with a lot of personal information. Then we know that Virginia had a security breach when an email had a link to some computer in Nigeria, and the man was able to help himself to $2.5 million that was in their bank account with a lot of records. I've seen a lot of businesses that have had their HR files hacked, and a lot of it is an email requesting data, and the person within the company thinks it came from a reputable source and sends the data. And the data could be employee social security numbers and date of births. I need them, the CEO needs them for something. The HR director complies, and it was a fake email that went somewhere else. That happened to a company here in the county. Actually, it happened to a big company that had a lot of employees here in the county. So they were affected by that. But the newest one, and I have talked about going to a reputable tax preparer. So the newest hack that the IRS issued a warning on yesterday is where these hackers will access the computer of tax preparation firms. And what they're doing is they're getting right into the tax preparation firms' computers, and they're actually creating tax returns using the data in the computer, using unfiled social security numbers, because the software will tell you who hasn't filed yet from last year. And they're actually creating these tax returns, so the companies are coming back to work. Let's say they close for the weekend. They're coming back Monday morning. They turn their computer on, and 500 tax returns have been filed. And the problem is this. So the man here at H&R Block or wherever, tax prep service, shows up and sees this happened. You can't call the IRS and say, oh, there were 500 fraudulent tax returns filed. I have the social security numbers. I have the information. The IRS has no mechanism to stop that. When I file a tax return, this is the process. I am an ERO, an electronic return originator. At my office, I originate returns. When you come in there and I do your tax return, I send it to a server, and that server sends it directly to the IRS. Shortest distance between 2 points, Todd? A straight line. And with me, that's what you get, a straight line. Not all tax preparers work that way. Some of them are not EROs. Some of them have to send your file to an ERO. Then that ERO has to upload it to a server that then sends it to the IRS. So that's the process. So when you go to a tax preparer, you really need to consider that tax preparer's security. Are they a legitimate tax preparer? I had a man come in last week, and this is so classic, I see this all the time. He comes in because the IRS sent him a letter. He did his tax return. IRS sends him a letter. The thing's messed up. All kinds of issues. They're holding his refund, which legitimately he had this refund coming. And now we need to solve the problem. I said, who prepared your tax return? My half-brother's girlfriend. I said, what is your half-brother's girlfriend's name? He goes, Kelly. I said, Kelly who? He goes, I don't know, Kelly. I said, can you find Kelly? He goes, well, they broke up. I said, so he broke up with Kelly, and now you can't find Kelly who prepared your tax return. He goes, yeah. I said, and how did Kelly prepare your tax return? Oh, on her laptop. Where is that laptop now? I don't know. With Kelly, I guess. Now, Todd and I were just speaking. Somebody had a laptop stolen, or they don't know where it is right now. This is another situation, totally different. Had a laptop stolen, or it's missing. Where is that laptop? Does Kelly even know where her laptop is? Your social security number, your date of birth, your wife's social security number, date of birth, and all your children's social security number and date of birth are on Kelly's laptop right now. And you have no idea where Kelly or the laptop is. That's how most of this stuff is happening. You really got to consider this when you go to have your taxes done. Are you a reputable firm? What kind of security do you have? Now, I'm going to bring this back to me because this program is all about me, right, Todd? Bring this back to me. I spend a lot of money every year to secure my computer. And I might get hacked. I might have been hacked. I don't know. But I do everything possible, and it's expensive. The firewalls I put up cost over $1,000. And that's just to put up a firewall. Then you've got all the software that goes with it, and then all the technology and all the learning that I had to do to figure out how to make all this work between the offices and the server and all the computers and everybody that remotes in. And then we have policies, strict policy in place. I'm the only one that can send a tax return in my office. The four preparers cannot. Everything comes to me. I have to approve everything, and then I final everything, and then I send it off. So there's only, if there's a problem, if there's a security hack, if there's a breach, it's me. It's Gilbert. You know, and you know where to find me, right here. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. But so you got to consider this stuff. So this is so major that the IRS issued a warning about this in real time, and they've been years behind the ball on this. Didn't even acknowledge this was a problem till last year. Now this year they've issued warning after warning about your tax preparer, making sure your tax preparer has the right security in place, making sure the data is safe. Do they even lock their filing cabinets? Let's start with that. I've got one filing cabinet that we lock where sensitive information is, but then we lock the office and we've got security and we've got things in place. But you got to consider this because it's beyond now. It's about guarding your data. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to get back and talk about extensions a little bit more. Todd, let's take a break so I can finish my cookie. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM.
Suffering from numbness in your feet, leg cramping, pain when you walk, difficulty sleeping from leg and foot discomfort? Well, you'd need to see Dr. Jerry Gross at Foot and Ankle Center of the Carolinas. Your feet don't have to hurt. Call 245-6405 today.
People say to me all the time, Gilbert, your hair looks fabulous. How do you do it? The answer is simple. Robin Saunders at RSL Salon, 279 Shiloh Road in Forest City. Now, anyone that can make you look this fabulous is only available by appointment. So you've got to call Robin at 289-9110 and tell her you want to look as fabulous as Gilbert. RSL Salon also does gel nails. If you need a pedicure, shellac, or gel nails, call Emily at 447-3524 and she will fix you right up. That is RSL Salon at 279 Shiloh Road in Forest City. You can call Robin at 289-9110 or Emily at 447-3524 because everyone deserves to look fabulous.
What can I say about Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, and 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery that can do them justice? The cakes, fresh baked breads, sandwiches, and salads, everything is delicious and perfect. Whether it's sit-down dining, lunch on the run, or catering for any occasion, Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, or 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery is the place to go. Stop in at Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, and 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery and mention Gilbert Talks Taxes and get a free cranberry oatmeal cookie, the official cookie of Gilbert Talks Taxes.
We are back. That was a fast break. Good thing I finished my cookie. I was going to move on from the topic, but to underscore how serious this problem is, on the 12th of April, last Tuesday, Commissioner Kaskinian, the IRS commissioner, gave testimony to a House committee. Actually, it was the subcommittee. It's a committee on cybersecurity, science. They're a subcommittee of the Committee for Science, Space, and Technology, and they're the ones. This committee reports back to Congress on cybersecurity, the internet security, and how to protect taxpayer information. I mean, this is so important. And it's a subcommittee. You can say, well, subcommittees aren't that important, but they are. Any committee that reports to the House is important. They have Congress's ear, and Congress is giving their ear to this. So the commissioner actually spoke, and actually he gave a written letter on reporting to them everything that the IRS is doing to safeguard taxpayer information. That is just how major it is. Now, they claim that they have stopped what they call low-level hackers. Low-level hackers is the guy that, when most of us think of a hacker, we think of some guy sitting at home. I love those credit card. When you go to your credit card computer, they got a picture of a guy wearing a mask sitting at a computer. Why is he wearing a mask? What, in case, because what? He's anonymous, I guess. Yeah, he's a hacker, and he doesn't want his computer to see who he is. But that's just, I know, they're there. He's sitting there, and he's dressed in black. That level, the IRS says that level of hacker is not. They pretty much stopped that because of their security. But the money that is being, these fraudulent tax returns, it's in the billions. It is so big that they believe it's foreign governments are behind it. I mean, we know the Nigerian government has been behind it, and they've been behind it through complacency. They don't do anything in their country when they find somebody that did it, they don't care. They don't do it. They're probably in on it and getting part of the money because it's billions. That's like their gross national product. So it's big. It's big. It's going to get bigger. So my prediction on that is it's going to get even bigger. And there's going to be something radical done in the next couple of years. When I say radical, we know Apple as in the iPhone, Apple, we know that they developed retina technology that you can hold that little phone up to your eye and it can identify you. It's going to be that kind of radical technology that's going to be required, something truly unique that cannot be copied, duplicated, or imitated. So what it's going to be, I don't know. I take the stance that when you give up your freedom for security, you have neither freedom nor security. So, all this stuff I approach with caution. So am I off that subject now? Yeah. Christy, I'm off the subject. Okay, let me move on. Christy's giving me the move on sign. This is the move on sign, the rolling move on sign. I talked about extending, so let me finish about extending. If you extend, you have 6 months to file your tax return. And another thing I see when people extend, for some reason the ones that extend are the ones that come. So if I extend you tomorrow, you have until October 15th to file your tax return. Why do they come October 13th? I don't know. The same reason they came April 13th. And the one that cracks me up is every year I get that group of people that says, I'm going to need another extension. No, you get one extension. That's it. October 16th, you are now late. And it's really not a good thing. Because at that point, you've just really gone beyond. You have gone way beyond. So you have 6 months. I said earlier, extending does not, you still have to pay. Some people are unclear on that. When you don't pay, or let's say you made a reasonable estimate. The point of the story I'm trying to get you is do it as soon as you can, even though you have till October. Don't wait, because this is what I've seen happen. So they bring me their tax return, we'll make a reasonable estimate. Okay, we know you're going to owe $3,000 at least, more or less. How much can you can send them $2,000, great. Then there's that 1099 you forgot all about that came and you stuck in a drawer. That 1099 dividend income that you forgot all about, and now you owe another $1,000 because you had dividend income. You're paying interest and penalty on that money, and you may not know what your final return is. So don't wait, because it compounds daily. I wanted to talk about some business law, but I just can't get over the cybersecurity, or I can't get past cybersecurity. What are we going to do? So let me talk about business law. We've just got a little bit of time left. Actually, let me business law. Next year, let me get into that real quick. Those of you that file a partnership return, this year partnership returns are due just like individual, April 15th. Okay? Next year, partnership returns have to be done March 15th. It's pushing them up a whole month. This is huge because, again, people are creatures of habit. Every year, my partnerships know their tax return is done the same as their personal, and they bring me all the information together and just do the partnership, give me the K1 and put it on my personal, and let's go ahead and get that done. Next year, it's going to be March 30th. There are a lot of partnerships out there. I have a lot of partnerships. Surprising how many partnerships we have. It's a good business model. It's not for everybody, but it's a good business model. So you really need to be aware of that, because it's going to create a lot of problems, because what's going to happen is these partners are going to be waiting for their K1. They have to have their K1 by March 15th. And if you've got a partner that's on top of this, and many of them are, they're going to want that. So if you're in a partnership, be aware that next year your reporting deadline has been moved up a full month. And if you extend, it's moved up a full month. So it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a big issue next year. And we are going to be sending out letters and contacting all our partnerships personally and staying on top of that, because we can't let that slide. So March 15th, partnership returns and 1120S, that's an S corporation. Those returns are due together. It was part of a law, a highway bill that got passed, and why that was in that law, I don't know. I'm glad to see it. It's a good thing. We need it. And then C corporations, which were due March 15th, are now going to be due April 15th, which I'm not worried about pushing something back. Nobody's going to complain about that, because most C corps owe money. They don't get a refund unless they overpaid estimated taxes. So they just have another 30 days to pay. They're tickled about this. But it's the ones who are moving forward I'm concerned about. We have one more break, Todd, or two more breaks? One more break? Let's take our break right now and come back and wrap this up. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM.
Hi there, this is Kimberly, and I'm here to tell you about Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop. As a woman, I'm often apprehensive about taking my car to a dirty service garage. But you can be assured that Peterson's, located at 478 Butler Road, Forest City, has an incredibly clean and safe environment where you get high-quality service at a great price. Peterson's was voted Rutherford County's best auto service 3 years in a row. So take your car to Peterson's for brakes, oil change, North Carolina inspection, tire rotation, headlight lens restoration, scratch removal, and meticulous auto detailing. That's Peterson's at 478 Butler Road, Forest City. You can call him for an appointment at 245-8888. 8889. Mention you heard Kimberly on WCAB 590 AM, and Peterson will give you $20 off a full detail or $5 off your next North Carolina inspection. Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop, a place I feel comfortable going to.
My closet keeps shrinking my clothes. And if you have that problem, take them to Nancy at Nancy's Alteration Shop at 610 South Broadway, Forest City. Call Nancy at 248-2345. Wear the clothes you like to wear. Let Nancy bring them back to life for you. That's Nancy's Alteration Shop, 610 South Broadway, Forest City.
I want to welcome Tim Schlabach and Foothills Photo Works, a professional hybrid commercial photography studio. If you're concerned about your social media image, listen up. Whether you're an executive, real estate broker, lawyer, or business owner, your image matters now more than ever. And you know first impressions count. Whether you need professional portraits, corporate headshots, images of your products or facility, aerial photography, and videos of buildings, boats, or large acreage, affordable professional help is here for you. Foothills Photo Works can create media that will help your prospects get to know you better and help you look your best. Foothills Photo Works is located at 362 Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton, North Carolina, but you need to call for an appointment. That number is 828-668-2304. Mention this ad and receive 15% off your first session. That's 828-668-2304. Foothills Photo Works, your media professionals.
We are back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes here on our last program of the season, right here on WCAB 590 AM. And we want to give the first place award for the neatest, most organized file. And this year, is there another category, Christy? Neatest, most organized file. And that first place award goes to Patty. Patty this year, and really, she said, I think I'm the most improved. Years ago, she used to bring me her stuff in buy-low bags. Actually, she's in Tryon, so it's IGA. It's an IGA bag. She brings me an IGA bags and Dollar General bags. She would bring all her stuff, and it would just be thrown in there, and it wouldn't even be from like that year. It would just be random receipts and just all kinds of stuff, medical prescriptions, whatever. It was, it was pictures of her family. It was like whatever. Why is there a picture of your family here? For a deduction. They're my dependents. Okay, I believe you have them. So she went from that this year, because we help her and we tell her, if you did this, your bill would be smaller because I don't have to spend all that time sorting all your receipts. So this year, she brought her tax relevant information came in a Louis Vuitton bag, in file folders, organized, and all her backup data came in one of those black enamel file boxes that they have like at Staples. They're very elegant, with the lid with the little metal corners and the stainless steel handles. And then when I took the lid off, every file was in its own hanging file labeled. I was impressed. Oh, yeah.
Because you found her so much money.
Oh, yeah. I found her so much money. Well, there's a whole story there. It wasn't that I found her so much money. I actually saved her a lot of money because she just had a mess that people were not taking hold of her. I find that it's not that we find a lot of money, it's just that when you're organized, it's easy to get to the meat of what you need to find and what's going on, especially people that are self-employed. People that are self-employed are a different animal from people that go and they work, because people that are self-employed, they're about what they're doing. They're about their business, and then you have people that really are doing what they're doing because they love it. I've said it several times. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And if you do that, they don't want to worry about bookkeeping. They don't want to worry about taxes. I mean, they know they owe taxes. They're not going to have to pay taxes, but they just don't care. I've got clients that have given me everything. They give me their passwords to their bank accounts. We do everything for them. We pay their bills. We basically manage their lives. And then taxes is just really an incidental part of it. It's just part of it, and all they care about is that the money gets to the government on time, and they don't want to get a letter from the IRS. And if they don't get a letter from the IRS, I've done my job. So you've got that, but they're different people. They don't want to bother with it. So really, when she saw that I was able to prepare a much better tax return, reduce her tax liability, and do it all timely without having to extend, she said, well, this is worth doing. So we got this beautiful Louis Vuitton bag and this box. I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh, we have a new client. Chrissy said, no, this is from Patty. I said, what? So Patty, you get the award. And we want to thank you for letting us help you and do your taxes. So that's the award. We got the award out of the way. Well, Christy, we have 4 minutes left. Is there anything you want to say? She thinks, she's told me. I really want to thank my wife more than anything. I couldn't have done this program without her. Her support has been there, and even though it's been hard getting up some mornings, some Saturday mornings, she's been there, and she's definitely a backbone to this business. I want to leave everybody with, the one thing I want to leave everybody is, I say it all the time, pray for our leaders. What does that have to do with taxes? Everything. They're the ones that make the tax law. The Bible says that our leaders wear the sword because he allows it, whether for judgment or for good. And Obama is our president because God allowed it. Pray for him. Pray for our senators. Pray for our congressmen. I mean, I can go on and tell you story after story of what's happening, this law, that law. You can save money on your taxes. You can do this, you can do that. I can tell you all that stuff. And I can, go on and go on and go on and give you all the reasons why you should call me and do all that. But that's not what this program is about. We really feel God had us do this program. Our business has been about the people. We care about our people, and it's always been to help our people. And there's a scripture in 1 Timothy 6:17 that we just always think about. And I'm going to read the whole scripture, although it's the last part that I really like. Now, this is out of the Amplified. As for the rich in this present world, instruct them not to be conceited and arrogant, nor to set their hope on the uncertainty of riches, but on God, who richly and ceaselessly provides us with everything we need for our enjoyment. We serve a God that loves us, and we serve a God that cares about us. And when we talk about taxes, people that owe, especially when somebody owes, I always give them the scripture. We give to God what's God's, and we give to Caesar what's Caesar's. Taxation with representation really has not been such a good idea. But it's the system we have. And what they do with it, and how they spend it, and all of those things are beyond our control. But if we walk upright and in integrity, I really believe that God will withhold no good thing from you. And if you owe money, I always get back to the story about Peter. He's coming back to meet up with Jesus, and they stop him in the temple, and they said to him, don't you and your master pay the temple tax? And Peter said, oh yeah, we pay the temple tax. And I always say there's a little bit of faith on his part because he ran back, met up with Jesus, and the Bible says that Jesus spoke first. Jesus didn't know where Peter was, but Jesus spoke first, and he said, Peter, is it right that the children pay the tax? He said, go down by the lake, or go down to the lake or the river, whatever it says, and catch a fish. And open the fish's mouth, and there's going to be a shekel in that fish's mouth. Go take the shekel and pay the half shekel tax. Pay your tax and pay my tax. So really, if you owe money, you don't have it, just cry out to God. Ask him for your fish. Where's your fish? So you can pay your tax. because it's God's will. This has been Gilbert Talks Taxes, right here, WCAB, 590 AM. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Earlier, the Pontiff, along with Orthodox church leaders, visiting a refugee camp on Lesbos, and ABC's Terry Moran is there.
Pope Francis on the front lines of the refugee crisis. Last year on this island, more than 500,000 people came ashore seeking a better life. And so Francis went to be with them at the main detention camp here, an old prison, a pretty grim place, and you could see the desperation. You get the unmistakable sense that being with people like this, the unwanted, bearing witness to their struggle, it's his favorite part of the job.
It's nightfall in Japan, where thousands of army troops and other rescuers are in a race against time, looking for people buried alive after a pair